Welcome in for the third day in a row to the Rochford Files with your host that's kind of between the coast, coming to you live from the Mile Highland City. It's Andrew Rochford, live on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. And this stream today has taken an unexpected turn. I was supposed to have a 3-guest stream today, and it was then to the other guest, Sonny Cay. He's unable to be in for tonight's stream, and also Lawson, one half of the Political Matrix, was also supposed to be in on this as well, but he could not make it either. So earlier this morning, Jett said that he was tested positive with COVID, then had a breakthrough going from out to probable. And today it's got to be the JJ flu stream. Here's Jett.
Yep, I'm still hanging on, man. I was like, you know what? I'm not at death's door, like knock on wood. And yeah, I didn't want to cancel if I didn't have to. I couldn't get over how fun the idea of coming on, doing a stream, playing a song while I had COVID was. So I wanted to go ahead and do it.
I noticed some of the new people here were enjoying the pre-show music, which was yeah, I found a website that could remix the Rochford Files theme song.
That's awesome.
And 2 of them don't trigger copyright from YouTube, so
that's fantastic. Oh man, so awesome. Everybody in chat.
How do you feel about the change in this stream?
I mean, I don't mind. I don't have any issue with being a stream hog. I mean, heck, that means I might have to do a spoken word piece too. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I can't blame anyone. I almost had to tap out on this one today, but I kept waiting for it to get worse, and it hasn't gotten worse. It's all just extraordinarily painful neck and shoulders, and it feels a lot better to sit up than it does to lay down. So here I am sitting up, living my best life.
Nice. I do not have any experience yet with the real COVID symptoms yet.
Yeah.
Was this the first time that you know that you caught COVID?
And based off of the feeling, there were times before where like I have a bad cold or something. I was like, I would have had COVID, but I tested negative. This definitely, I've not had this before. This is very unique. And yeah, this is really, really day one of like morning to night having been symptomatic. I started feeling like shit last night. And yeah, it's not great. You know, it could be worse, but it's not fun. So, but I enjoy having the opportunity to do this because I feel a lot better sitting up and doing something like this than if I was just kind of convalescing and groaning on the couch. So,
from my experiences being sick, I feel like I would mostly agree. I would be some people would probably say I'm trying to force myself to sit up too often, not lay down and rest.
Yep.
But only a couple close calls here where I thought I had symptoms, but tested negative. There we go. Thanks so much for subscribing to the channel, Jimmy. I know that you've probably been... how long have you been doing music for, Jesse?
Oh, I mean, I started playing out gigs anywhere that they would have me at about 14. I didn't start doing this kind of music, and specifically political music, almost exclusively until really the beginning of 2020. Once quarantine hit and I was laid off for a while, had a lot of time on my hands, was lucky enough to get unemployment. I was like, this seems like the best time to just say whatever I want to say about what's going on. And my first record I put out ended up being kind of a play-by-play of the beginning of 2020, watching the primaries go down and that whole shit show of an election. And yeah, I think it was 24 tracks, and it was all in about 2 months, from about March to May of 2020. I was just like, every night I record everything on my phone in the car, just use that as my vocal booth. I would get my kid to bed, make a pot of coffee, fuck off to the car until 4 a.m, and mix everything the next day, and then record more that night. And it wasn't a pace I could keep up with after that album, but for that first one, I was just like, whatever the discourse was, whatever horrible thing we saw in the news that day, I would write something about it, and then the next day I'd do it again. And so it made for a pretty frantic first album. But then once I was doing that, like, I found such a great group of people on Twitter that were really supportive of what I had to say and the style I was saying it in. So yeah, I've been really, really lucky.
Kelly here has a good question. Who are Jesse's biggest musical influences?
Ooh. In terms of influences, probably my favorite lyricists would be Aesop Rock, not to be confused with ASAP Rocky. And he's one of those people who writes stuff that I just can't even wrap my brain around half the time. And he was on ketamine for a good portion of it, which is really fascinating. But Aesop Rock and Lauryn Hill. Lauryn Hill's Unplugged album was something that I heard and was just essentially someone doing spoken word poetry and an acoustic, but it had just such a heaviness to it that that's one of those albums that I'll just stop what I'm doing and sit and like be totally entranced by. Outside of that, I mean, I listen to a ton of stuff. I grew up listening to a lot of grunge and Beatles, and lately in the past like year or so, I've been on a big Sturgill Simpson kick. It's kind of all over the place, but I think in terms of influences, like people that I hear a little of sometimes in my stuff, I think there are moments I hear the Aesop influence for sure. Yeah, I should be more prepared for an influences question, but there's just so much that I listen to. Yeah, I might have to come back to that. Let me stew on that for a while, because I feel like there's a couple that I'm missing that we're gonna get done with the stream. I'm like, God damn it, why didn't I say? So yeah.
And the crazy part is you can still discover new artists that have like big politically charged music.
Yeah, for sure.
I didn't realize how much like Dead Prez and the Coup were all politically charged. I knew of like Immortal Technique, even back when I was just someone who wasn't that into politics.
Yeah. And I feel bad because I never listened to much Immortal Technique. I still haven't. That's someone who is like, it's on my list of like people that I need to I need to go through their discography sometime. Trying to think of JPEG Mafia in about 2019, a record he put out called All My Heroes Are Cornballs. I was just in kind of a musical funk. I hadn't heard anything new that I loved, and then that record was just like such a slap in the face. That was the last time I heard something new that like made me stop what I was doing and make me excited about new music again. I love a lot of death metal. I love weird, harsh stuff like Mars Volta that's hard to listen to, Dillinger Escape Plan. And I also love Patsy Cline and Amy Winehouse. There's very little I don't listen to. I don't like new country, and most new pop doesn't do anything for me. But then there will be something like Brockhampton. I fucking loved Brockhampton. I don't find anyone that wants to come at me for it. I was like, I think the only person that was just as sad in the same week about Brockhampton breaking up as Every Time I Die breaking up, because Every Time I Die is one of my favorite bands. Keith Buckley is one of my favorite lyricists. And yeah, that was a hard 1-2 punch that I had to put up with that week because they both split up within like 5 days of each other.
Are you, even as a performer, someone who goes to concerts very often?
Lately, I haven't gotten to. I used to go a lot. In fact, the last concert I got to go to was Aesop Rock. I got to see him in Grand Rapids in a really, really smelly little nightclub, but he put on a fantastic show. But yeah, I haven't had the opportunity lately. Like when I have a night that I'm not too beat from work, I'm trying to catch up with music, and I've got so much stuff that I need to record and like projects on the back burner that I'm just like, I'm drowning. So I've been really trying to hammer it out. Like I'm really trying to finish my next record before the 4th of July, because I put out Inauguration Gift on Inauguration Day. I put out 2 EPs on 9/11, and I'd really love to put this out on the 4th of July. It just feels fitting. So that's the deadline I've given myself. We'll see if I can make it.
So when you talk to other friends that you make that make music, do you feel like you create new songs faster than them, or about at the same rate?
I mean, I don't feel like it's fair to say faster, because I usually do rush. My mixing and mastering process is minimal at best. If it sounds decent, there's nothing really jumping out at you that's shitty, I can hear everything where I want it, I don't waste a whole lot of time on that, because I'm usually just trying to record the next thing if I have the time. So, I mean, like there have been occasions where people have hit me up about doing a song for their podcast, and wrote it, and then got it recorded, and then got it to them. And I've done that, same day. Usually when I write a song, it kind of all comes out at once, and then I try to get it down as quickly as I can. But my output when I'm on a roll, it's hard to stop. Like I just get in that mode, and I can't turn it off until all of a sudden I'm just out of it for a few weeks, and then I try to catch up and record and organize shit. But I'm sure there are some people that crank out stuff faster, but I'm also sure that the people that are slower have a much cleaner finished product at the end of the day. So it's kind of apples and oranges.
Yeah, I bet. And I noticed that pretty much all your music is original. Have you ever dabbed with the idea of doing like parody music?
I've thought about it. In fact, the Susan Sarandon song I did recently was kind of on that verge. And before I did political stuff, like when I used to just play originals and covers in bars and clubs and stuff, I did a few kind of funny songs. And I've actually thought of that lately, because it'd be a great diversion from the heavy subject matter that I deal with and all my other shit, to be able to obviously still get some snarky political commentary across, but be able to do it with something that was funny. It was actually Tara Reid. I was on her stream recently, and she mentioned that when we were about to start, she was, "You don't happen to have anything funny, do you?" I was like, "No, and you know what? I totally should." And I wrote the Susan Sarandon song that next morning at work. I was like, I need something that I can kind of throw a little lighthearted moment when I'm not talking about sterilization of immigrants and fucking whatever else. So, yeah, there's definitely some more of that on the horizon, because I feel like if I don't, I'm just gonna lose my shit eventually.
Did you ever find yourself in the crossroads between having to choose to write songs that would be catchy and popular, and just staying true to yourself and making music like you do now?
That's a great question. There are definitely times where I'll make the occasional conscious gesture to throw in something that's a little extra fun, a little extra danceable, try to keep the pop sensibilities going, mainly because I feel like if I don't, that I would alienate people, and you got to have enough to kind of get people on board to start listening to what you have to say. But that said, there are definitely plenty of things that are like exactly how I want them. I don't really make a lot of concessions in trying to make something sound pleasing to the ear, which is why I'm so happy that other people like it, because I'd like, again, it was all kind of just for Jesse to begin with, and if other people enjoyed it, then hot damn. And it's still, there are songs like Militia Intent that when I wrote that, I was like, oh man, no one's gonna go for this song, because the production vibe was just so different and has all these strings and these kind of like Revolutionary War feelings to it. It's just very, very weird instrumentation, but people, that's probably the song people ask for the most on streams, which is just, it still blows my mind. So yeah, I'm lucky in that I don't have to make any concessions. I kind of made the decision, if I'm going to say whatever I want, it's going to sound however I want to. I mean, shit, I have one song, I literally was like a super stressful couple days, and I sat down to record the song that's really fast. It has this quick backbeat and all this kind of Greek sounding instrumentation running throughout it. And I sat down, I had the lyrics in front of me, and I just started bawling. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to fucking hit record. So I recorded me crying for a minute. I cut out a measure of it. I looped it. I ran it underneath the whole song. And it's just frantic as shit because I'm going really fast and practically screaming some of these lyrics. And in the background, you hear someone just like having a fucking good cry. But it made for a really cool, intense thing that, again, I didn't know if anyone else would dig that. And in fact, a comment left on that is still my header on Twitter of someone saying it literally sounds like he's crying at the end. What the hell am I listening to? And I was like, oh shit, that is my header. I'm absolutely stealing that.
So I know this Cynic girl is someone who must be one of your fans.
Yeah. Yep. Longtime friend.
And she's saying that we need a comedy album.
I should. You know what? I don't have any. Well, I only have the one. Warren knows my stand-up story, which is the Winn-Dixie shitter, and that's about it. I've gotten to hop up once at an open mic and do some stand-up and told that story to, unfortunately, some people that were eating, and in hindsight, that was a poor choice, but mistakes were made. But yeah, I totally should do. I should do comedy one day. I should just have a few drinks, press record, and see what happens after the end of the year.
Oh, real life friends as well, I'm learning.
Yep.
And Jimmy is wondering if you have a TikTok. She thinks you could be real successful there.
And I need to put some stuff there because I was actually just saying the other day that would be a great way to kind of just do some normal songs and bait people into coming and listening to my political shit. Okay, Charlie, I'm dying to know what the Apple Scruff reference is because I've never heard that outside of George Harrison, and I always thought that was the weirdest thing. So I need you to please exhaustively explain that to me in chat.
Yeah, I know.
George Harrison, that's another one. George Harrison's All Things Must Pass album came to me at a really great pivotal point in my life, and that record, just some of his chord changes and shit, like I totally rethought guitar a lot after that. Oh, here we go. BMSR, Black Moth Super Rainbow. They are mostly analog synth, lo-fi hip hop band, like vocoded vocals, just really great. The kind of feeling that you're watching something through a VCR with shitty tracking. Like their music has such a texture to it that I love that band so much, and that's a huge inspiration for me in production for sure. So I'm glad I thought of that.
So, are there any like recent issues that you like to sound off and rant about?
Oh. Well, our friend Noli D brought to my attention today that I guess they're trying to do away with Miranda rights.
Oh, yeah.
That was pretty interesting. I'm like, okay, I'm not surprised. Yeah. Again, nothing surprises me at this point. And it's not like, those aren't just so much of a formality, because if they want to just ignore them and just tell you to go fuck yourself, you still will. But yeah, again, that was one. There's just, I just got back from vacation in Florida, hence having COVID. And I took a week of, not really being on Twitter much. And I got to say, it was fucking fantastic. It was so nice. And then I came back. I'm like, oh, what's everybody so mad at? So I had to really dive in. And of course, it was all sorts of horrible shit that had happened in that week. So I got nice and caught up. But yeah, I'm just to that point that it's just, I wish any of it felt newly outrageous, but it's just such a barrage of the same shit. And you can tell so many people are in that boat right now. Which is another reason why I'm trying to kind of wrap up this album for myself as well, that I've been lucky enough to have a lot of people that are involved and do, consistent activism and mutual aid say that, obviously you get burned out, and that that some of my stuff has been a really helpful tool in getting them fired up again, in reminding them why we do this. And really, I think that's who I target more than people that don't know what I'm talking about. I would rather talk to people that are aware and help them, stay angry and stay engaged, because I need it too.
So we've now got this Miranda rights article up.
Yep.
So I'll go
So fucked up.
read a bit into that real quick, and then we'll spawn. While all eyes are focused on the recently leaked draft of the Supreme Court opinion on Dobbs versus Jackson Women's Health Organization, which would end constitutional protections for abortion rights, a lesser-known case looks to likely erode another constitutional precedent, Miranda rights. This case, Vega versus Teco, asks whether a person's federal constitutional rights are violated if a police officer fails to inform them of their rights to remain silent, to be represented by an attorney, to be protected against self-incrimination whenever the person is subjected to custodial interrogation by the police. These warnings, known as Miranda warnings, after the 1966 Supreme Court case that first prescribed them, have become critical protections against coercive police interrogations and are routinely cited by officers whenever they make arrest or question suspects in custody. I think that's enough to get the point across. So, what did you think learning of this news? And this also follows the Supreme Court also doing stuff like the whole border zone thing, where they could pretty much go into your home without a warrant or anything.
I feel like there are so many things like this. This is just a really good example of one of the hundreds of things that they sneak by under the radar on a regular basis. While we've been going back and forth about Roe v. Wade, which is something that they have dangled for years and could have done something about for years and years, and use that as a scare tactic. Meanwhile, they are doing things like that. They're doing things like this. It's really disheartening that so few people are aware of it. And again, like now, this is coming to light, and it'll be just enough time for a good bunch of us to be aware and get mad, and then they'll go ahead and do it, and we'll have a fraction of the awareness that we would need to stop it. So yeah, sorry. Maybe it's me being sick, but I'm just super defeatist about this one.
Yes, I can definitely understand how being sick can add to the defeatism, because of the fact that there's so many people who aren't even realizing the shit is going down, while corporate media has them focused on the main thing. And the main thing right now is that proxy war with Russia and Ukraine. And then before that, the main
eating up money.
And the thing before that was COVID, which is now.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I had to wait till it wasn't a hip thing anymore. I was saying in chat earlier that, if something comes out and everyone's into it, it's kind of related to Father John Misty. I was like, this guy must be an asshole. I'm not going to listen to his music if everybody likes him. And then a couple years later, the flare was dying down. I'm like, okay, I'll check out Father John Misty. And then you know what? I loved his stuff. Just like today, I didn't get a little line on the COVID test. I got a big fat dark line. I aced that fucking thing. I really super, super strong positive. So Score one for Jesse.
So, Game 6 of the NBA Finals is going on right now. So, what made you channel the MJ flu game version of yourself for tonight?
Well, I think I mentioned, I couldn't, when I was sitting there thinking about it, not to be, dark, but I mean, COVID for some people is not a terrific outcome. I'm not the skinniest guy. I've got high blood pressure. And I was like, for all I know, this could be my last chance to do a stream. Any stream could be my last chance to do a stream. But I was like, I shouldn't pass up. If I'm not like miserable, I'm not throwing up. The only time I ever canceled a stream, I was literally throwing up nonstop, dry heaving. I couldn't have sat here and done this for as long as we've talked. But I was like, shit, I canceled as a precaution because I thought I'd probably feel worse. And when I didn't, like, my neck and shoulders hurt. Back feels like shit, but I feel better sitting up than laying down. So why not? Like, I should take every available opportunity, especially for, a show I've never gotten to be on. And honestly, some of the best interview questions I've ever gotten to have. Like, yeah, I definitely wanted to do it if I could. So I'm glad I could.
Yeah, most definitely. Also, do you think the feds try to taint you with some bad food?
Oh, I don't know. I got wicked bad food poisoning a month or so ago. Still don't know what it was, but if they were going to do it, that was the one, because that was the one I had to cancel with Misty on her radio show. But I was just like, oof, that was brutal. I lost. I literally, over the course of the weekend, I lost like 12 pounds, 15 pounds or something. It was just absurd. So
Yeah, because I remember in that Bulls 30 for 30 when they talked about that flu game.
Yeah,
How
I remember that.
some local Utah pizza place tried to deliver a tainted pizza to Michael Jordan's hotel room.
I remember once I had the flu back when I lived in Florida, in Panama City. I had a band that I was home with the flu, and my bassist called me and he was like, hey, we just got a call to see if we could play at Club La Vila, which was our biggest place. That was you playing the Palace in Panama City, was getting to play out on the beach at Club La Vila. And I was like, dude, I've fucking got the flu. I feel like shit. And I was like, I know, but it's Club La Vila. Like, all right, fine. So I bought, $30 worth of Gatorade and I drugged myself there, and I would get out, do our 45-minute set, and then just go collapse off stage. And then someone would come splash some water on me and wake me up, and I'd come back out and do another set. Like, that was just so stupid. But I was also, 20. So I still had it in me. But yeah, that was my Jordan moment for sure. Because I was just, super pale, sweating bullets, even when I was just sitting in the fan. Like, it was really rough. But
did you also have a hard time focusing on what was ahead of you? And
lyrics were difficult, yeah. But to be fair, I only have enough like mental space to focus on the song I'm playing and think a little bit about the next song, so that once I move on, I've had so many people come up and be like, hey, what was the name of that last song you played? And I'm like, can you hum a few bars of it? Like, how did it go? Like, literally, that's been pushed out. I don't have space for that one anymore. I'm on to the next song. I'm really, really bad about that. But it's just like, it's not necessary. I got to get rid of it. There's only so much room.
You are the type of person that could block out seeing a big crowd of people as you perform.
Yeah, I've been lucky enough to. I've gotten to play some larger venues and festivals and stuff like that, and I'll get just as antsy before any show. That's really when it is, like that 15 or 20 minutes, and I'm really ready to just kind of get started. And running out the clock before I get to go out and play is when I'm just like, super hyped up and a little antsy. But then as soon as we start going, that's always when I've been the most comfortable, is when I'm getting to perform. So.
Yeah, isn't it interesting how some performers are a much different person when they're not performing, and like becoming much more socially awkward?
For sure. Yep. Yeah, I've met an awful lot of musicians, and yeah, someone on stage is very seldom the same person off stage. It's really fascinating to see.
We got a question from Uncle Warren. Ask Jesse if he's still the Walter Mitchell spokesperson. Thank you.
Did he mean Walter Brennan? Because I don't do a Walter Winchell. I wish I did, but I don't have a Walter Winchell under my belt. It didn't come out right.
He just said, wait, never mind.
Because Walter Winchell, wasn't he the voice of Tigger? Or I'm tripping? I could be. I can blame it on COVID. Never mind. He's abandoning ship. I love you, Warren. It's okay. I won't hold it against you.
He got his Walters mixed up. Paul Winchell, is that correct?
Winchell? Oh, yeah, okay. That sounds right. Well, who the fuck's Walter Winchell? Get me Walter Winchell in here right now.
So, are you capable of performing any song in
for sure.
full impersonation?
Oh, a song in full impersonation. Well, I actually did on Warren's show last time on the Secret Show. I ended up singing a parody of a Michael McDonald song in Michael McDonald voice. What else? I used to do a few other different impressions that I haven't done in a while. Oh, James Blunt. I can do a good James Blunt impression. Which I guess now I have to do. I can't just say it and then I won't do the whole song, obviously. But okay. Oh fuck! How does that song go? Okay. A little James Blunt action. See. Simona, you're getting older. Your journey's been etched on your skin. Simona, wish I had known that what feels so strong has been and gone. I would call you up every Saturday night, and we'd both stay out till the morning light, and we're saying, here we go again. God, I can't do it anymore. Now, you know what's really fucked up is one night I was playing a gig in the Keys, and this really sweet old lady came up to me, and I was just singing normal songs. I wasn't doing my James Blunt impression. She was like, you know who you sound just like? James Blunt. I was like, oh, shit. I need to do some reflection after this. Oh, sorry, Charlie. Charlie had repressed the whole existence of James Blunt, and now it's back. Sorry, I know that was just like taking a big dump in your brain, Charlie, but I can't bear that knowledge myself.
So, will there ever be a day that you have a Jesse's band camp?
This one time at Jesse's band camp. Oh, that's great. Oh, that's awesome.
And to answer your question, Jimmy, yes, they're still all over the place, at least where I'm at, with Winchell's Donuts.
Oh, yeah, Coheed. God, I forgot about Coheed. How I forget about that. Shit. I'm trying to remember how I played that song. I cannot remember those chords to save the life of me. Oh, okay, hang on. Buzzer. Sorry, can't remember it. I used to do the guy from Coheed and Cambria's voice, and I used to know 2 of their songs off the top of my head, but that's been a couple years now. Yep. Sorry, I still have to play real songs. Oh yes, Kelly, I will. I swear I will do that. I actually have a few days off of work now, so I can totally send you that stuff. Well, you want a real song? If I'm out of impression. Freebird and Paul. Get out of here, Warren. Oh, okay. Blood Red Summer. Thank you. I couldn't remember the other fucking Coheed song. Okay, if you know Coheed and Cambria, then you'll get this voice right away. If you don't, then I'm really sorry.
Thin white figures playing much sleep. Please don't tell my secrets. Keep them hidden. You got it, you got it, you got it. If the words that matter reach your face from floor, will you be wondering if or I did what is given or honest? Does it cost me scoffing if the words stay true? Even number you're not pure. And when the answer that you want is in the question that you state, come what may, come what may. When the answer that you want is in the question that you state, come what may. Oh goddamn! Fuck you, COVID. Oh. Oh man. Whew.
Oh, that was
It was real
good.
touch and go there for a minute, but we made it. Whew. Okay, let's do a real song. While I still have some voice left. I admittedly don't have a whole lot of political songs that don't end on just a fucking downer note, but this song ended up coming out a little hopeful at the end. So yeah, this is going to be off the next album, The Grift. This is called Powerless.
They'll gladly pay you by the hour for a minute or so you can sign off on the towers where they'll piss on your home. And if you feel like you're just powerless to answer them no, it's 'cause you are. They'll gladly pay you by the hour for a minute or so you can sign off on the towers where they'll piss on your home. And if you feel like you're just powerless to answer them no, it's 'cause you are. It's 'cause you are. They'll gladly stagnate a living wage, snap the chains and bury it. Labor slaves in rusty cages dragged behind a chariot, led by Mr. Racial Jungle, Joseph R. Iscariot, fighting over scraps as they barrage us all with variants and BuzzFeed clickbait, straight until we're paralyzed, trying to distract us from the concentration camps that Joe had swore he'd close, but only chose to amplify, where they got 50-something kids in cages made for 5 to occupy. And no, she hasn't seen the camps, but Harris swears they're paradise. And she tells us the facilities are safe, and that right down to the women, they are regularly sterilized. And then she throws her head back and she proceeds to laugh, that sort of heartless cackle you'd expect from someone working steadfastly on behalf of the virus at a Congress full of parasites. And honey, where was I? I was busy cashing every blue check, demonstrating plainly all the narratives expected from the verified. I was busy breeding verbal leeches by the terabyte. Trained them to exsanguinate the wealthy while they sleep at night. Bleed the oil barons dry and barren. Say they showed us how to share and now we share alike. Tell them I contracted rabies from a feral mic. And now I'm just another species losing sleep to noise pollution and these glaring lights. Forced to change its habits and adapt to just survive. But now it's safe to say that some of us are thriving in the moment, throwing shit on presidential homes beneath the Paris skies. So if you feel like you're just powerless, I guess you bought the lie. But I can tell you're petrified of our collective might, cause I can hear those gentrifiers weeping at the sight of our collective rights. And I only can imagine the intensifying fear of knowing revolution's near. And all that's left to do is simply wallow in the thick anticipation of a rabid bite. And baby, one day you can ask your leaders just what that was like before you grab a slice. So if you think you're powerless, allow me now to change your mind. Honey, if you think you're powerless, allow me now to change your mind. You see, they'll pay you hourly, tax them each apart, and build a shining tower out of loopholes and cards, where they'll tell you that you're powerless to keep you in the dark, because you aren't, because we aren't. You see, they'll pay you hourly, tax them each apart, and make you build a shining tower out of loopholes and cards, where they'll tell you that you're powerless to keep you in the dark, because you aren't, because we aren't. And that's powerless.
Give the man his flowers. Have you reached your minutes restriction yet?
Whew. Oh man.
Yes,
That spent me.
We'll work on that, Marcus.
Oh man, that was fun. Seriously, thank you. I've played that song on several different streams, and every time I've gone to record it, something fucks up. I have tried recording that song so many more times than any other song, and it's given me so much trouble. And I'm not trying to do anything fancy. It's literally just acoustic and vocals, but it's given me such a nightmare of a time. I still love that song in spite of that, but yeah. Oh, hey, Marcus.
Yeah, I definitely get what you mean, though. It's like, if I just try to record a clip and you mess up, it's like, oh, shit, gotta start over. But
Yeah.
if it just a mess up on live stream, you just keep going and roll with it.
And especially like now that I've done that song enough, I know how I want every line to sound, and so it's like getting through, because I don't like to snip stuff out. Like I like to record a song front to back. So if I fuck up almost at the end, I gotta start back over again. Hey, thank you, Marcus. Seriously, that means a lot.
Do you draw any inspiration from your music from like movies and TV shows?
Oh, dude, for sure. I mean, there are references in my stuff to so many different things, and that's kind of the beauty part. Is like I'll be like lately, I've got so many things that I need to get recorded and finished for this album, and I'm like trying not to write because I've already got like 8 or 9 more things I need to record. And suddenly, like, I'll see something in some movie or hear a little clip of something on like old time radio, especially. I heard something the other day that I'm going to have to sample. The guy said something like, newspaper men were the hardest to manage, but most of them ended up cooperating with the government in the end. I was like, oh, I'm going to sample the shit out of that. So suddenly it's like, all right, now I have to write a new piece so I can use that.
Yeah, it sounds like you've accumulated a ton of extra potential material to go to that you may not even ever need.
Yeah. And in fact, I was looking at this next record. I'm going to split it up into like one disc of actual songs and one that's just spoken word. And I thought I only had like 7 spoken word pieces, and then I looked through and found a couple that I'd forgotten about. And all of a sudden, I'm like, okay, it's actually 9. So, and who knows, I might find something else because it's been a while since I've dug through all my notes, and I'm sure there's some shit I've totally forgotten about.
Another question from Kelly. Can you think of anything positive that you could write about?
I mean, I definitely have in the past. You know what? Hang on. I'm gonna, if you don't mind, it's short. This is I've already pulled out such weird stuff on this, and this seems like the perfect place to do this. This is easily the most positive song I've ever written, and the most heartfelt love song I've ever written before. Probably the oldest song of mine that I still played at gigs and stuff too. I think I was about 12 when I wrote this one.
There's nothing you could say. There's nothing you could do that could ever make me falter from loving you. Twice baked potato with cheese and sour cream. Twice baked potato with bacon and chives. You're a twice baked dream. Now when they brought you to the table, I could see it in the cheese. You were looking for that special someone, and I knew that someone was me. Twice baked potato with cheese and sour cream. Twice baked potato with bacon and chives. You're a twice baked dream. Oh, twice baked potato. I've never loved anyone as much as I love you. And you know something, sweetheart? These past 5 minutes that I've spent waiting for you to cool have been the best in my life. And I'll never forget you. And now the ring that's on my finger, oh, it's an old potato skin, still serves as a constant reminder of that twice baked love I was in. Twice baked potato, oh, with cheese and sour cream. Twice baked potato with bacon and chives. You're twice baked dream. I love you. So there you have it. It's twice baked
I think
potato.
you've got a lot of people wanting twice baked potatoes now.
The fact that I wrote that when I was 12 is kind of the Tarantino moment that shows you like how the weight issues began. It's like that was 12-year-old Jesse. I need to push this song and get some. I don't know if it's TGI Fridays is probably the nation's largest manufacturer of frozen, ready to make twice baked potatoes. But someone's got to get me a sponsorship deal because we can make something happen here.
Does that mean you're going to be on a mission to try to co-op a sponsor rather than allow it to co-op you?
I think so. Yeah, I think it's different. If I court them, I feel like I'm making the power play. You know, I'm not being swept off of my feet by TGI Fridays. I'm seeking TGI Fridays out, and yeah,
And you
little
couldn't
loophole.
have the next viral hit like that. Applebee, that song that got
Oh
featured in
Jesus
Applebee.
Christ! No. Uh, I just love that. I don't know that you can write a song that ludicrous and it like it takes off. It's like that's the world we're in, man. You just got to go ahead and throw it all at the wall and see what sticks, because you never know.
Yes, Kelly here is right about Applebee's liking to pour themselves out,
Mm-hmm.
and how they were part of like one of those. There was like an ad in the middle of like one of those like CNN segments early on
Yes.
in this Russia.
Yep. Oh, that was so good. Oh shit. Oh. Well, what do you think, man? I think I got a spoken word piece in me. If you want me to do one more.
Yeah, I was gonna ask real quick what how did you choose twice baked potato? Was that one of your favorite foods?
You know, I think that was honestly around the first time that I had one. Like, I loved baked potatoes, because who doesn't? And then I tried a twice baked potato. I was like, damn, like it's just a whole nother level. And then I started just thinking about someone that was, you know, that time stood still when the potato showed up at the table, and that was just, you know, love at first sight. And I can relate to that with food. So it wasn't hard to get into that headspace, you know, and right there. Man, I'm loving chat tonight. Seriously, this is such a fun group. I love you guys.
Yes, this is the most people that have been in the chat for an episode of the Rochford Files to date.
Solidarity. I mean,
Uncle
well,
Warren.
again, Warren, you feel like you've experienced everything there is to experience on the bean spectrum, and then you fry them a second time, and it's like hearing music for the first time. I don't know how to explain it.
Too much kitchen science.
I just want a sign that says that at a protest. Too much kitchen science. And I just want to walk around like super fucking mad with that sign. Keep God out of kitchens.
So is fourth quarter Jesse ready?
I think so. Yeah. Let's do it. Let's pull out one more. All right. So this piece, I came to a crossroads with this rhyme scheme, and it was one of those like, should I or shouldn't I kind of moments. And I totally did. Yeah, this is a recent spoken word piece that oh, hang on, Kelly. Anything that makes me happy now. I mean, aside from the obvious, like I have a 5-year-old son that any bit of time I have that I'm not working when I'm awake, that we're playing Legos, we're playing Pokemon, we're running outside. In fact, today trying to constantly tell him that I can't really do much, and that I'm having to sequester in the other room was rough. But I mean, still, you know, even though I'm working on music that's pretty somber and pretty heavy subject matter, the act of making it is so cathartic. And so it's still, the recognition I've gotten for these songs and some of the attention I've gotten for it is more than I ever have in my career as a musician. And a couple of the lists I've gotten to be on and some of the acknowledgement I've gotten from people I really respect is just more than I could have asked for. So it might not be happy song to song, but the act of making this music and getting to do this and having the response I do and people that care about it, it makes me so happy. I can't even put it into words. So yeah, getting to make music and my family, my son is just the pinnacle. So yeah. Anyways, let's get back into one of those pieces that's like the opposite of that. This was one that was going to be short, and next thing you know, it just snowballed, and I kept going, and then here we were. This will be on the Grift on the next record. This is called Communism, Taylor's version. That's not part of the text. Blue check, better hold your breath. I'll slap you out your Ray-Bans. Toe to toe, we'll do-si-do and dip until you face plant. If you want statistics, I can spit them up like Rain Man. Now your argument has 0 arms and legs like Rayman. Now we're touring 2019 like it was Graceland. I dropped 50 pounds and started dressing like a stagehand. Quarantine was born and I restored my former waistband. Now I make the trailers for our future in the wasteland. Back on my bullshit, back at my heaviest, here to grab the artifact and jam it in the edifice. Force it in the orifice, absorb the sordid medicine. All the good cops are either dead or quickly jettisoned. And no, I'm not a nihilist. And no, I'm not a pessimist. I'm just your average realist with a fetish for the precipice. Bend you over this abyss. I want to make you sweat a bit. I'll drop you once it registers and know that you'll remember it. Daughters of the revolution soon may lose their membership, maybe through a dissolution, maybe through dismemberment. I won't be the one to choose or execute the severance, but I stand in solidarity with every tool that severs it. Every crimson pool we made of every fascist fool who watched us sacrifice our schools to fund the final crowning jewel affixed in Lockheed Martin's diadem. What's another 20 dead? Our leaders never cried for them. They're laughing in the garden, drunk and pissing on the hyacinths. The royal jubilee to praise this fascist Biden monarchy is imminent, and it would not be possible without the constant slaughtering of innocents, overseas and here at home and anywhere we find a shred of innocence. We won't stand for peace, not in the global or the inner sense. We won't let a single nation live outside our prison fence. We'll provide the bullets that deface an honest journalist and turn around to praise ourselves for fearlessly upholding the free press and their important service. But I'll make a bet that Anthony starts blinking awfully nervous when you ask him why Assange is being jailed without a purpose for what may be the greatest, most courageous act of journalism carried out in earnest. All to be rewarded with a slow-mo execution stretching out across a decade till they commute his sentence half an hour after he goes in the furnace. Sometimes I think the world is only turning out of spite. It's like we died a long time ago and we're so used to being burned that when we saw the light, we all assumed that it was here to burn us. And so we fled into the shelter of a flooded circus, led to higher ground by all the clowns who own the only raft that floats above the sewage. And yes, there's plenty room, but they insist we don't deserve it. They insist the system works. They know it isn't perfect, but say we can't let great become the enemy of good, or all these rolling waves of shit we call democracy and bled out every dime for won't be worth it. But I submit this joke of an American experiment has not been worth a fraction of a damn since we birthed it. I submit that all our contributions to the planet, when subtracting our destruction and the millions we left dead and labeled damages, would leave us with a failing grade of worthless. My apologies to any blue checks who might be listening. I'm sure that made you clutch your pearls and $1,000 purses. Did I interrupt your fantasy of healthcare exclusivity, replete with fleets of Tesla hearses? Or your daily round of golf claps to pacify our broken nurses? Now, I know my spoken word is like the scalpel of a surgeon who is working on behalf of the insurgents, but I'm just here to open up your eyes so you can see the true reality and not your censored, tailored version. So you can get your copy of my brand new manifesto. I took all my calls for violence, made it danceable, and presto, called it Communism, Taylor's version. Called it Tales of the Great American High-Speed Rail Aversion. Called it How to Put a Bigot into Power, then collectively and feebly coerce him into acting like a decent person.
This will be the most important vote you'll ever cast, because we have to wrestle power from the current ruling class and hand it over to the other team of smiling suited serpents. This will be the most important vote you'll ever cast. Now watch them toss it in the vat and see it melt into the surface. That's Communism Taylor's version.
Jesse without the guitar. He's like someone who decides to play basketball and try to shoot with the left hand instead.
I'm left-handed, man. It works out.
Oh, then you gotta go to the right. So, since your next album is called The Grift, do you find yourself ever using the term grift for non-political things that you feel that are a grift?
Sometimes, if there's some merchandise that I feel like is especially just, I don't know, unsavory. A lot of advertising now, if it feels like it's really just playing to people's desperation or just trying really, really hard. It's not always, but yeah, there are definitely moments. But for the most part, no, grift is one of those things that I usually use for a politician.
Yeah, but today when I saw this collaboration with New Era, it screamed a clear grift to me, so I'm about to show you what I mean. So MLB unveiled a collaboration with Off-White New Era featuring Off-White's meteor holes. Hats cost $260, t-shirts $355, hoodies $630, jerseys $1,030.
Now that's a grift, if ever there was, man. That is.
You notice how you can't have it both ways. You either
Yeah, they put a hole in the cap and the brim. Like that's so brutal.
I mean, you either have the inflation prices or you just leave the holes in like the uniform for inflation.
Like literally, you can just hand your hat to my friend's dog and it'll do the same thing. Like it's not worth all the money.
Yeah, but when I saw that today, that was one of those rare moments outside of politics where that's a really clear grift.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, see, that's one of those great great examples.
WCSN says, Jesse, sending you a more spoken/rap. Yes, I'm a rapper, mostly gum and candy, but I'm working my way up the ranks.
Oh, that's great.
Kelly, I didn't know that meteorite strikes perfectly spherical.
See, we're learning something new today.
Jesse, is there anything else that you'd like to plug on the way out?
I don't think so. I mean, my Bandcamp is where all my music is. I recently changed my prices on everything to set them to free. So obviously, if someone wants to, contribute, I love money just as much as the next guy. But I didn't want money to get in the way of having the stuff heard and having the message out. So by all means, if you enjoy what you hear, go grab some albums. I'm trying to get the next record wrapped up, like I said, by 4th of July. I have a few songs finished for it already. In fact, I just finished the title track for it, which I think a few of you have heard. If anyone wants to hear it, I'm not really posting it until it's done, but shoot me a message on Twitter and I can send you a link so you can download it.
But yeah, that's about it. I do my show every other Tuesday on Indie News Network, American Tradition. The next episode, we're going to be all about Nancy Pelosi, so that should be super fun.
Oh, Lord.
Damn, the one that got away. Keep your secrets, Warren.
You may want to save that for your midnight show tomorrow night, Uncle Warren.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, if you please like, share, and subscribe, especially since there's quite a few new people here in the chat. Also, follow the Rochford Files on Twitch, Rumble, and Odyssey, even though I've been slacking on getting stuff to those last two platforms. And next stream will be sometime over the weekend. And with that being said, don't forget to go to the Bandcamp link for Jesse Jett in the bio. In the description. And thanks so much to Jesse Jett for making an appearance tonight on the show.
Of course, man. It was a blast.
This is Andrew Rochford saying goodbye and good night.